Hello everybody and welcome back to Crusader Kings, where we have definitely expanded dramatically in the last little while. It's also 1050. I just now noticed that. So that means that we have started heading to the High Medieval era. We'll be there in about 4 years, so that won't be too bad. We've got the early medieval era fully maxed out. And when does the late medieval era open up? Okay, in 150 years. Okay. So that's a lot of time to fill out the high medieval innovations. That's absolutely fine. And we're currently working on, if we can get zoomed in, there we go. We're currently working on getting these guys integrated into our realm peacefully. So the way that we need to do that is by doing a religious exemption, and then we need to bring this cultural acceptance up. So their culture is Bengali. And we are working on that. So their cultural acceptance is at 1% plus 1.72 yearly. We've got intermingling in realm, we've got vassalage, and we're promoting acceptance. There's a 5 acceptance baseline. Now these are flat numbers. I don't know if this is a cultural acceptance percentage increase. These wars have dropped it down though. Okay. So that's good to know. So that'll start coming up, and we should be able to offer these two vassalage fairly soon. When we're able to do that, well, there's not a lot more that we can do. We're going to fabricate a claim on this county here. Once we have all 3 of these, then we can make the de jure kingdom here. Actually, we already hold this county, don't we? Yes, we do. We need 3. So technically, we don't need this war. Technically, all we need is these 3 counties to make it. So we're actually going to stop fabricating a claim here, because I don't actually want to be doing this. So we're going to work on doing, I think, a bit of faith conversion down over here instead. That should do. And once our cultural acceptance comes up here, in theory, these guys will be willing to join in. In theory. They'll be willing to be annexed. So, are you Bengali? No. Are you Bengali? Yes. So, we do not want to go to war with anyone Bengali right now. For the time being. Tamarshid here, they are Macedonian, so we could definitely declare on them, except that we're truced. This guy we could go after very, very easily. And I think that that's something that we should do. We are truced here, so that's fine. Bengali, Bengali. Yeah, so we should definitely let rest fighting over this way. I wouldn't mind coming into Persian Syria. That wouldn't be a terrible idea. Cappadocia Taurica, of course, there's not too much we can do. We can also go after Roman Greece, so we can come up over this direction. There's quite a number of wars that we can go after. I think we're just going to crush this county super quickly here. We'll raise up our men-at-arms 2 months here and 2 months here. Okay, it doesn't really matter. We'll raise up just men-at-arms. And we'll head on in here as soon as they're raised. This war is already won. So that is completely done. Nothing else to be done there. Wonderful. There's also... Okay, these are lakes. I was wondering what the coloration was there. Yeah, those are just lakes. Not a problem. Sounds good. There's also some locations over this way that are Gujarati. Or some of them are. Okay, a lot of these guys are currently at war. Nepali here. Yeah, there's a lot of reasons not to accept that, but that's okay. We'll go after them soon enough. I mean, the major reason why we have to do what we're doing up here is because we simply have no CBs on them other than subjugate, which is not good for us. So we're going to enforce these demands. Now, we could fabricate claims on them and go after them that way. That is an option. I'd kind of prefer to do it this way, though. Boosting the cultural acceptance. I'd like to experiment with how that actually ends up going. So this is under our control now. absolutely no problem here. We will need to hand this out to a noble of the Armenian culture, which we absolutely will. We can go after Persian Syria next, and we probably want to do a duchy level claim here. Egyptian Cilicia wouldn't be too bad. Yeah, a lot of these are kind of awkward. This is a 3-county, 3-county. This is a 2-county. This is a 3-county. So, I mean, this is about the best we can get right now. Sounds good to me. We are running low on piety, so that's definitely something to be a little concerned about. But we'll go ahead and declare this. And get our very loud at war music. I like it. And by like it, I mean I don't like it. We'll raise our men-at-arms, as well as a few levy troops. And we'll see how that ends up going. This is way more than we need. I was not paying attention. I was looking at our language scheme. We'll group all of that together, and we absolutely don't need this number of levies. This should be more than enough. We'll head on in. And we'll see when their army gets around to showing up. It won't be for a little bit yet. Let's go ahead and split off a couple of units here. So we're going to split off like that many levies, I think, as well as our mangonels, obviously. And these guys, they're going to come over here and slow siege. Actually, they're going to come over here and see about fighting this force. Is that their whole army? No. But it might be his whole army. It is. It's his whole army. Roman Asia is in this. Okay. That's good to know. We will go ahead and put in a siege leader here. And we'll keep an eye out for people coming in from the west over here. Ah, see. This... Oh. He's going here. Oh, okay. That's fine. We don't care about that. I don't know why he's going here. He should go here and defeat our siege force. Very strange. So it looks like he is making his way over this way to attempt to join up with these guys. That's completely fine by me. We're going to catch this force here, and we finished up this siege. So we're going to head over here. This is a little risky to head this direction with our siege force, but I'm feeling fairly confident. We got a stack wipe there. We are going to walk through this attrition zone, which is to be expected at this point. They're actually embarking here. They've noticed that embarking was a problem, but we catch them here, so this is completely fine. Okay, sounds good. So there's the Crete force completely wrecked. So they have 3,000 troops left. Okay. We're going to head up over this direction for now. Our siege weapons are continuing to siege up here. Ah. This was the danger. When do they arrive? They arrive in 8 days, 9 days. The siege finishes in 19 days. We leave in 11, 8 days. Okay, we can get out of here. That's what we want. It's a little lucky that we can actually find a place where we can walk away. And hopefully we can continue to get out of there. Yes, looks good. Okay, so we knew that Roman Asia over here was very likely to attempt something like this. And that's why I was saying it was risky. I guess she's flirty. Sure. I mean, we're 55, but in that event, we looked like we were 90. Okay, sure. Well, we're going to head over here, and they're continuing to chase our siege force, which is a little bit annoying, to be sure. But we're going to come over this direction and head back to Tarsus. Cool. So they're heading up over this way. This is completely fine. I don't mind this at all. We managed to learn the language. And that's great. We feel accomplished. Okay, now I don't think that that actually affects the acceptance level. Let's see. That's not the view I wanted. The acceptance level is now 3%. But learning the language did not affect it. Okay, that's good to know. And let's see what her opinion is now. 0 reasons. Oh, five reasons from speaking the Magadi language. That's actually really good to know then. So if we speak the same language, that is 5 reasons for offering vassalage. The cultural acceptance is still the primary problem. This guy is still at -5. And I think that's because he probably speaks a different language. Yeah, he speaks Bengali Sogdian. Well, I don't know that that's the language he speaks, but Scythian, Gaulish, and Magadi. What is his court language? Where do we see his court language at? That's an interesting question. I don't actually know. So those are the languages he knows. These are the languages we know. But clearly, this is not his court language. His court language is probably either Scythian or Gaulish. So yeah, I'm not sure what his court language actually is. I'm sure we can see it here somewhere. That's the county capital. I mean, we could see it by switching to him and going into his court. Right here. But I feel like that shouldn't be necessary. I feel like it should be public information for any character to know what the court language of another character is. And I'm sure it's in here somewhere. I just don't know where it is. Okay, so this would give us Scythian. I wonder if it's just the first language here. So his first language is Scythian, and so that's probably his court language. If we look at this lady here, her first language is Magadi, so that is probably her court language. Yeah, that makes sense, I suppose. Although it's not necessarily true. It might be a good rule of thumb. That's something we could definitely work with. So how are things going over here? We've kind of let them walk away a bit. But our siege is underway, and we're going to continue to chase them over this way. We'll see if we manage to catch them eventually. I don't want to let them maneuver badly, though, so that they're in between us and this unit here. That would be not good, but they're actually going to let us catch them in these mountains. Sure, it's going to be a little tougher to beat them in the mountains, but I'm not too concerned about it. We're at 70% war score. This battle will probably get us some battle war score. 84. Nice. And that siege will probably end the war, right? Again, they probably could have landed here and taken out our siege force. Yeah, I do expect that this ends the war in 20 days. So that'll be good. We'll continue to experiment. So we are currently working on our theology focus. Scientific is not going to be very useful for us yet, although it might become useful in 3 years here. Okay, so we could become a wise man, which will give us learning. I guess we'll take that. Hopefully that'll bump up our piety income a bit. And the war is over, as expected. We'll go ahead and take that territory, disband our troops, and hand these titles on out. Fantastic. And we are over our vassal limit, so let's go ahead and create a few titles. We can actually usurp a couple. This duchy would be a good one to usurp. So we'll go ahead and do that. That will, of course, go to this gentleman right here. 2 vassals go with, so that actually solves our problem. Okay, cool. So who do we want to go after next? We are running low on piety. Attacking the Romans would cost what? Actually, we do have some de jure claims over here that we could do. That would, of course, cost prestige. Yeah, I think de jure claims. Press them. Excellent. So this is being pressed on the Roman kingdom. And we don't actually expect them to do very much about this, because they're in currently roughly 1 trillion wars. That is a scientific estimate of the number of wars they're in. Technically, it's 3 wars, but they're stretched pretty thin right now. There's no doubt about that. So we're going to head on in over here. I think that we don't need more than like 10,000 levy troops. That should be more than sufficient. So we'll just go to around 10k. That's 8k, 18k. Okay, sure. We'll run 18,000 troops. We're going to grab Faithful here. That will get us some clergy opinion. It's not hugely useful for gaining more piety, but it'll do for now. Or she'll be there. Okay, so here goes all of our troops here. We will go ahead and group these together. We are going to split off our standard siege force. We don't need that many. That'll do. And we're going to head over here. We're going to put in a siege commander here. That was not a siege commander. We're going to put in a siege commander here. There we go. And then I'm going to split this force in half. There we go. And they will head over and grab this. We're just going to do some slow sieging over here to try to get as much of the war goal under our control as possible, as quickly as possible. So that'll be fine. Yeah, it'll take a little time for this to happen, but it'll mean that we go a little quicker. We're going to take over these sieges as we finish up with our siege force. And for now, I'm not really concerned about much of anything, except for the fact that that was only worth 4%. But that was only a partial occupation, so that should be fine. No sign of Roman troops at this point, and we don't really expect them to put much effort into this war. And in we go. Okay, so 7.9%. That's not too bad for a county. We'll go ahead and take this force up over to the Castrum of Campulung. This is an interesting potential option to go after as well. We'd like to clean up a lot of these little guys, no doubt about it. Oh, look at this. There's some big progress made here. I like it. Okay, so let's hop up over this way, and we need to move our siege force. We'll move them over to the Castrum of Tabla Booty. That'll be fine. Oh, a good siege tick there, considering we don't have a siege leader or any siege weapons. We'll take it. Hybrid cultures are being formed. That's fully expected. Ticking war score is now on our side. And this is excellent. We are not really going to see much for problems in this war, it looks like, but it will take us a little while to get the war score that we want. We'll head over here, and these guys will, of course, head down to the Castrum of Craiova. Right about now. Excellent. This siege will finish up very quickly indeed. So we'll go take over Polovragi as soon as we're done here. There we go. And these guys will move down to Caliphate just as soon as they're relieved. So we're at 25% war score now. Still no sign of any Roman troops. They'll arrive eventually, but not for a bit. We would still love to go after the Roman kingdom with a subjugate. That would be hilarious, but we don't have access to that since they are, in fact, an empire. Although we were able to do it on the Magadan Empire. I don't have an explanation for that. Oh, these guys needed to move. And we'll just go take Targugiu as soon as that finishes up. There we go. We're at 32% war score here. Still no sign of any Roman troops. Should be evident soon enough. But, I mean, we're absolutely the superpower in the world at this point, and we're just throwing our weight around. That's pretty much what's happening here. Now, we are going to enter the High Medieval era very soon, in 21 months. That is fantastic. We're exceptionally happy about that. Because that means that we can get our tech working again. So that will be great. This army will go ahead and go to Severin as soon as it's done with that siege. And we actually finished slow sieging over here. I love it. We're going to head on up. And let's see what we can potentially get done here. This is a hard border here, so we would need to cross over this way, but the river crossing is here. It's a little bit awkward. We'd have to go after Veden. Well, we'd have to go through Veden. We wouldn't go after them. But overall, this appears to be a very uneventful war. We're definitely taking some attrition, no doubt about that. But that's to be expected. We're going to head up to Vajdahunyad. I'm sure I nailed that. We're going to head up there next. Oh, pronunciation is not my forte. But that's fine. Caliphate here is going to fall pretty soon. I'm a little surprised that we haven't seen any Roman forces. They did get out of one of their wars, but not the other. Very interesting. Well, we'll see what they end up thinking there. A raider force, that's not relevant in any meaningful way. We're at 64%. Ticking is continuing to come in. 21% of our war score here is from ticking, so a full third. That's excellent. And we are just continuing to expand. At this rate, I do honestly expect that we will have Crusader Kings conquered well before the end of this game. In 1444 is when we transition to Europa. So if that happens, the plan is that we will transition to Europa the moment we have this map fully conquered. That is the plan there. So we do have a siege finishing up here. We're going to head down over this way and relieve this siege force. But that's interesting, right? The county of Caliphate decided to raise up a few forces here, but it was never going to work. I'm not sure why they chose to do that. But okay, if that's what they want to do, we're going to bring in our siege force over here. Yeah, showing the count. He didn't bring gold, which makes me sad, but he did bring prestige, which is fine. We are living legend, but it's okay. We'll come over this way and resupply a little bit while we wait for some of these sieges to wrap up. 13 months on this one, so that's going to take a while for sure. We're going to head over there and relieve that siege. Ah, now there's the Roman army. Okay. So we're going to head up over this way as soon as the siege is relieved. 300 learning lifestyle experience we'll go ahead and take, even though they do get a hook. That's okay. Okay, so that is relieved. And we're going to head up over this way. Okay, we'll just park there for the moment and here. They're going to siege. Interesting. I'd like to wait until we get a resupply. Okay. They've turned around. Yeah, they're thinking about sieging, but then they head out over this way. Okay. Let's head over this way ourselves. We'll get there eventually. We do have a learning lifestyle perk available, and we'll go ahead and take one. I think Zealous Proselytizer will be just fine. So we're going to wait here and see if they want to fight us. They have taken pretty heavy attrition, actually. They've lost about 1,000 troops since we've been looking at them here. We got a nice reinforced tick here. And we're just going to group up and see about chasing them down. Now, the danger here is that they are in between us and our siege force. The saving grace here is that the crossings are scarce. There's one here and one here. So we should be relatively safe, in theory. Never mind, the war's over. I wasn't even paying attention to that. Okay, so we're going to enforce our demands, and there we go. We'll disband our troops. Cool. And then this was de jure, so we don't actually need to hand anything out. So that is fantastic. And with that, it is about time to put a cut in here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to see if we can get these guys incorporated into the realm. Hopefully we'll be able to get that cultural acceptance up high enough to do so. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I will see you all next time.